games. Let's get to the breaking news right now. New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady breaks his silence this morning on Facebook, saying he did nothing wrong. Joining us by phone in a Fox Business exclusive is Dowd. He served as special counsel to the commissioner of baseball in the investigations of Pete Rose, George Steinbrenner, Don Zimmer, and Lenny Dykstra. Mr. Dowd's investigating led to the eventual lifetime ban of Pete Rose. John Brady denying all wrongdoing despite NFL Commissioner Goodell upholding the 4-game suspension. Good to see you, John. Thanks for joining us. Who do you believe here?
I'm very troubled by what the commissioner did yesterday. It appears that they ambushed Tom Brady because he was not suspended for failing to produce his telephone. If you read the Wells report, it was based on alleged tampering and the text information. It wasn't until he got on appeal that he was advised for the first time that his failure to produce the phone was a separate charge. And that is a gross violation of fundamental fairness and due process, if you will. So I think Tom has been very badly treated here. And I think the reason, I'm speculating now, but I think the reason the commissioner went that way and Wells went that way is that the report was so weak. The scientific evidence had been gutted by all kinds of independent experts, and the standard they used was ridiculous. And most of all, I'm not sure what this is all about. Apparently every team does this, and every officiating crew has their own way of measuring it. So this is a case without any standards at all.
Well, it's becoming quite clear. It
doesn't make any sense to me.
Right. It's becoming quite clear a New England Patriots fan is producing this show. I will say this.
I think this is the first guy back.
No. John, the producer, is a ravenous New England Patriots fan. He's been rolling his eyes at us all morning just to put it into context.
But Sandra has made some important points this morning. She's been pushing back on this idea that Goodell did the wrong thing.
Well, I just want to go back to the timing of this, okay? Because what we have is the fact that his cell phone was destroyed, right, John? So you look at the date, and it was March 6th. It was the day he was interviewed by NFL investigator Ted Wells, okay? That same day, Tom Brady had his assistant destroy his phone. Is the timing at least not a red flag or peculiar to you?
No, not at all. They had advised, if you read the Wells report, he had advised Wells that the phone was not going to be subject to investigation before he instructed his assistant to destroy it. So Wells already knew. And I read the Wells report, that portion over, and all they say to Tom, and in the report was, well, we asked for the phone, we didn't get it, but that was not helpful. They don't state, which the commissioner is now claiming, that he obstructed and he failed to cooperate with the commissioner, and that therefore was a separate charge. So what's odd here is that Tom has now been convicted and suspension upheld on an offense that he had no notice of in the first place. And everybody knows that you can't do that.
Yeah. John,
he has a right to defend, and Wells should have said, look, Tom, if you don't turn it over, I'm going to hold it against you. Now, I did that in the Rose case. I told Rose's lawyers, they don't produce the bank records. We're going to draw an adverse inference that something in those records criminates Pete.
So they set him up.
That didn't happen here, and that's fundamentally unfair.
John, if you go back to the legal...
that the commissioner doesn't reveal is apparently after the suspension, Tom and his lawyers tried to gather and did produce more records and tried to get records from the phone company, which they couldn't do. So,
by the way, breaking news on this, Bill Belichick, the coach of the Pats, is going to be addressing the media at 10 a.m.
All right. So, John, you go from the High Court of Henry VIII or Roger Goodell, then you go to the public court where Tom Brady's on Facebook right now. What is the next actual court that this gets resolved in?
I don't know. I think they may end up in the United States District Court. They've got to base it on lack of due process and fundamental fairness. And I think Wells and the commissioner have handed him one, because there was simply no notice that he was going to be disciplined for failing to turn over his telephone because he otherwise cooperated, and Wells never gave him that notice. So now the commissioner is saying, I'm going to hang you because you didn't turn over the phone. That's obstruction. The other question is, what are they looking for?
Yeah.
I mean, what's supposedly in the cell phone? What are they missing?
Any texts about the air pressure
fundamental
in the
information?
football?
I don't get it. They don't say anywhere.
Yeah.
So to me, this is we're covering backsides here because I tell you, the scientific and that Wells report is so flawed, and it's been demolished by all kinds of independent experts who weren't paid to do anything.
Well, we're hearing from a number of Boston journalists like Dan Shaughnessy, who was with us earlier. He said that Brady should give up the fight. Okay, and then at some point the team is going to get frustrated. If you're Brady, do you take this all the way to court, or do you just?
Winston Churchill said, "Never, ever, ever give in." Tom is right. Tom's a great quarterback.
That's awesome.
But what's really crazy is he's the face of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the best thing the NFL's got going, and what they're doing is crazy. I wouldn't give up the fight.
Which is why he's taking the fall, because he's the face of the game. When you're the face of the game, you have a responsibility.
Not if you didn't do it.
He's not the face of the game anymore.
Not if you didn't do it.
Face of the team, by the way, not the face.
Can I just quickly add something? I just wanted to correct myself about Greg Hardy, the Dallas Cowboy. He's suspended for 4 games, reduced from 10. He was convicted of assault, appealed the decision, led to a new trial. The alleged victim refused to cooperate, and the charges were dropped because if I make a mistake, I'll admit it. And so that's what's going on with Greg Hardy. Suspended for 4 games, exactly what Tom Brady got.
Nice job,
you were trying to make the analysis that whether or not the punishment fits the crime. John, real quick, you don't think the punishment fits the crime?
No,
you don't think there's a crime?
Not even close. Brett Favre, got fined $50,000. No, I mean, and by the way, what they ought to do is just straighten out who controls the balls in the NFL. That to me, that's the problem. It's the fundamental integrity of how they handle the balls in the NFL. They ought to straighten that out and get down the road.
Well, wouldn't Roger Goodell know that? I mean,
you would think so.
Yeah, I think Goodell's going to get fired.
Come on.
No, not happening.
Do you hear what Keith just said, John, that he thinks Goodell gets fired?
Yeah, this is his Waterloo, John.
No way.
Yeah, don't hurt your back carrying water for Tom Brady over there.
Roger Goodell's office is going to be emailing us
John,
shortly.
you agree with that?
I have no idea. The owners, and I could never predict what owners will do.
John, thank you so much for joining us. Great insights as we expected from you. John Dowd joining us there.
Thank you.